When it comes to building your dream HD truck, whether it be a Chevy, whether it be a Ford, or is the Ram 3500 the option that you're chasing, we can get you sorted from start to finish. From this video here, to get to an end result like this impressive build right here, we're going to walk around the workshop, talk about all the different components that go into a big build like this one here. It doesn't matter if it's an essentials build or if you're looking at traveling around Australia in a big touring setup. The options that you can give me on our build design calls is going to definitely speed up the process and help get you into a vehicle that you're wanting to get into from the get-go. I'll offer a bunch of guidance in regards to what setup I recommend for your application. Like I said, there's lots of different customer profiles, whether you're wanting to do a weekend warrior setup, whether you're wanting to travel around Australia full-time. Have you got a business and you're looking at doing a gap year around Australia? Or are you one of the lucky ones? You're retired and it doesn't matter where you pull up tomorrow. I'm Dean Bleasner, the co-founder of Big Dog Builds. We've built well over 650 trucks now through the workshop. When it comes to a big build like this one here, no matter where you're located, we can help get your vehicle up here to Queensland, get the build done. We can even ship the vehicle back to you. I would recommend flying in, handing the vehicle over and driving home, because let's face it, when you get something as good looking as this one, I'm sure you want to jump in behind the driver's seat and get straight into enjoying it. Let's start in the wheel and tire department. This is the first step that I think that you should be involved in before we even start our calls. When it comes to wheels and tires, there's obviously a bunch of different options online, whether it may not even be on the vehicle that you're wanting to decide to build. Screenshot those photos, send them in, because when we get on our first build design call, I'll be able to know what styles you like. You can even show me ones that you don't like. This is going to really help through the process, whether you're wanting a big rim with a small tire, or you like the small rim with a big tire. Whether you want tires that are sticking outside the guards, or whether you're wanting tires that stick inside the guards because you don't like those aftermarket flares. All of these decisions can be up to you before we even jump on the phone. Some vehicles, you may not get as many choices as other vehicles, but that's just the start of it. The factory wheels, the factory tires, they just don't cut it for our conditions over here in Australia. Changing the suspension kits usually mean that we can't run the factory wheels and tires because that aftermarket suspension upgrade is actually going to foul on the tires when it goes through its full cycle of suspension. This customer here has even upgraded the tires onto the factory wheels, but now he wants to hit that next step, get the suspension improved, and now we're ripping these ones off and we're doing a whole new wheel and tire combination. Speaking of wheels and tires and the different combination, we've got some of the best equipment in the world to make sure that your tires are fit to the wheels the best way they can. And we also spin those wheels up on the road force balance machine. That's this bad boy over here. It's going to make sure that the balance of your tire setup is going to be the best it can be on the road, because tires, they're not cheap these days. Looking after the tires is going to allow you to enjoy them for a longer period of time. You're not going to get those vibrations when you're on the road. You're not going to be in a setup that's going to be dangerous. It's going to be vibrating both in the vehicle and then shake the van around on the back end as well. So choosing the right wheel and tire setup is the #1 important factor. Big tires aren't going to fit underneath the factory location in a lot of the vehicles, so that's another consideration to think of as well. And #2 gets into suspension. Before we get into suspension though, we're not done with wheels and tires. Are you wanting to go 4 wheels and tires and you're wanting to risk it with a factory size spare? Are you wanting to run 5 wheels and tires and have a full size spare? The consideration there is the bigger the tire, the less you're going to fit it up into the factory location. If you've got a canopy on the back of the vehicle, the 37s can fit onto the canopy applications that we're offering here. And before your vehicle even hits the workshop, we've usually got your full wheel and tire combination already pre-fit and balanced, which is going to reduce the time that you're in the workshop itself. Because let's face it, I know how excited you are to get into a new build, so being prepared in the workshop has been our #1 focus for this year, and we're starting to get the systems and processes really dialed in for a very smooth transition from vehicle arriving to being in your driveway. Let's go look at suspension, because that's a very important aspect and it's going to be something that could make or break your ride. When it comes to suspension setups for your HD truck build, this is a very, very important aspect to think of. This here laid out is a Chevy 2500 3-inch BDS suspension kit with the impressive Fox 2.5 remote reservoir shocks front and rear. Going for a good shock setup and a good suspension setup is going to make your vehicle drive a whole lot better than standard. Having full adjustability in the suspension setups, like this DSC shock from Fox, is going to allow you to really customize the setup, whether you're driving on beach, whether you're hitting the corrugations, or whether you're sticking to just the bitumen. Going through and installing the suspension setup isn't just important on the workshop hoist itself, but it starts here in the preparation trolley. We lay out all of the suspension components, go through and make sure that everything is there and everything is in check. These kits come from the USA. They're some of the best kits in the world, but let's face it, sometimes things can go missing. So starting on the workshop bench, just like this one here, is going to allow us to pick up on any issues before it even hits to the workshop hoist, where the guys will install it over there. While installing the suspension kit, it's really important to get the install specs done correctly, get a good wheel alignment done after the suspension's installed, and dialing that suspension in once you hit the road is a little bit up to you. I can help with that setup there, but most people definitely need to get out on the road. They drive the vehicle after the suspension, wheel and tire combination's installed, and you're going to learn the characteristics of your vehicle, how it drives on the road, how it drives off the road, and then another important factor comes down to the rear airbags. Just like this setup here, that's your triple bellow airbag for a Chevy 2500. This setup here is one of the most popular airbags that we're running on the Chevy 2500 platform. But you don't want to overload these things and rely on them too much. The easiest way to know that a vehicle is riding on the airbags too much is if you're needing to run a massive amount of air just to keep the vehicle leveled without a trailer on the back. Getting the suspension setup dialed in isn't just about what's on the trolley here, but if you've got a canopy on the back end, we reset the leaf springs, we'll upgrade the rear suspension if it's in a coil truck like the Ram 2500. We'll make sure that that vehicle is safe to carry the load, both loaded and unloaded, as well as when there's a trailer on the back. It's a little bit tricky to get the best of both worlds between a really good ride while the vehicle's empty and a really good ride while the vehicle's loaded up with the big heavy trailer on the back end there. But the Leaf Helper Airbag Assist is going to be the best option to be able to give you the balance between loaded and unloaded. Inflating these airbags, we've got the two little Schrader valves at the rear of the vehicle, and if you're wanting to upgrade that one and be that little bit lazy, having the Air IQ set up gives you a compressor setup that's mounted neatly on the chassis rail. This one here is dedicated for the suspension airbag setup, and what that's going to allow is to give you a remote control to be able to inflate, deflate the airbags from the comfort of the driver's seat. While you're driving along, give that controller to your passenger, let them play around with the different pressures, and you're going to see how the vehicle performs differently with the different pressures in those airbags. Once you know those pressures, if you want to do a whole lot of study at the start and play around, the manual airbag setup may be enough, but if you're towing multiple trailers or you're unloading, loading water tanks in the caravan, for example, playing around with the airbag pressures on the fly is one thing that could definitely make your vehicle a whole lot more comfortable no matter what road condition you're driving on. Next up is a good wheel alignment. Let's pop over to the machine inside the workshop here, and I'll show you where the team get your setup dialed in after your suspension's installed, your airbags are in the rear end, and your wheels and tires are installed on the vehicle. After your suspension's installed, your wheels and tires are fit, it comes time to the wheel alignment. I'd be lying if I told you I know what I'm doing when it comes to this equipment, but we've installed it in the good stuff. We've got the good experienced mechanics on the job that are qualified. And that one there clamps on, talks to the Hunter wheel alignment laser sensors, and that right there, when it rolls onto the pads, we're going to get your vehicle dialed in. Theirs going to drive better than any other HD truck on the road. Once the clamps are installed on the vehicle, they'll raise the hoist up to the certain level. They'll take out the pins in the alignment deck, they'll drive forward and they'll turn on this computer and they'll get everything dialed in. I'd love to show you how to use this one and how we set up the wheel alignment, but that's going to have to wait until it's daytime, and I've got staff here that can show me how to do it. After that, we'll talk about flares and how the wheels and tire choice can be inside the guard and outside the guard. Come with me. When it comes to the tire fitment on your vehicle, whether you're wanting to run a flared fitment or a non-flared fitment, that makes a big change in what wheels and tires I can choose for your setup. Whether you're wanting to go color-coded flares, what do we got? Cypress gray, sterling gray, we got white, we got textured black. All the different flares to color match to your vehicle is definitely important, and it definitely looks the part. But when it comes to wheels and tires, going for the flared fitment is typically going to be a wider offset, which is going to mean a wider wheel track. This look isn't for everyone. So if you're wanting to stick to a more narrow wheel track, we can go for non-flared options, and this is going to be closer to the old Land Cruiser that you're used to. When it comes to the wider offsets, obviously these are going to be a wider footprint on the road. I don't think customers are having too much issues at all. The wider these trucks are getting, the big NPS trucks are definitely clearing the path for these HD trucks out on the tracks. Are they too wide for the tracks? You tell me. There's a lot of them driving around the country these days, and I haven't heard many complaints whatsoever. But the wheels and tires, the flared versus the non-flared, if you give me that advice from the get-go, I can make sure that I've got some good options ready to present to you so we can get off the phone and get your build into the workshop. After this, we're going to talk about the electrics, and that starts with the under-bonnet power system, the tow bar wiring, and then we can get into roof racks, bar work, off-grid power setups, and whether you're wanting to run a canopy on the back end. When it comes to the electrics for your vehicle, it starts with the under-bonnet setup and how neat the fuses are located inside the engine bay itself. For the Chevy 2500 package, the team have been busy engineering a full under-bonnet powerboard setup, as well as an upgraded fuse panel setup to make all of your wiring neater than any other build in the country. This setup here ensures for a neat install, and if you're wanting to turn off all the aftermarket accessories under your Chevy 2500, you can do that from a simple one push of one simple breaker. A neat preparation area, just like this one here, is going to ensure that the team put these boards together. They're going to get checked from a second team member in the workshop itself. We've got instruction manuals to make sure that every install is done accordingly, and that's going to mean that the start of your build when it comes to electronics is going to be nice and neat, and the same build done for every single vehicle. Having all of the parts accessible and spending the time to prepare before the vehicle even enters the workshop is the most important aspect. That's what we've been putting a lot of hours into this year. The team are very experienced when it comes to installing the electronics. We do all of our own custom wiring looms for all of your additional lighting outputs. When it comes to the roof rack for the vehicle, we'll spin over, show you the Big Dog Builds accessory rack, because choosing lighting options, how you're going to switch those lighting options, makes a big difference with how we set up your electrical package, which starts under the bonnet. Before we get into the lighting setups, your tow bar wiring looms, they're already pre-wired, labeled and put into these boxes here. So that's going to be your 50 amp rated Gray Anderson plug run to the back of the vehicle. And the most common setup is also running a Red Anderson plug direct to the rear. So that one's going to be direct fed to the front batteries. Some trailers don't need the Red Anderson plug, but it's going to be a really handy setup that's going to allow you to trickle charge the batteries under the bonnet from the rear of the vehicle. If you've got a regulated solar blanket, you can plug that straight into the vehicle and keep the batteries under the bonnet topped up. The batteries under the bonnet in all of these HD trucks aren't the best. Let's face it. Every time you open the door, a computer module is going to turn on. Although most of the HD trucks have got the twin battery set up to crank the vehicle, the amount of power that these vehicles use, just searching for a key, for example, opening the door, you got your electric steps folding down, your computer's turning on, kids jumping in, trying to charge iPhones. Trust me, I've been there. By looking after the batteries under the bonnet, it's going to ensure that you can jump in, start the vehicle first time every time, and get back on the road. Now let's spin over here, show you the Big Dog Builds accessory rack and the options that come with it. When it comes to the Big Dog Builds accessory rack, this right here, we have a Chevy 2500 option. As you can see, we've already got the LED lighting set up on the front. We've also got the 4 LED light setups on both sides. As you can see, this setup here, it only weighs about 13 kilos with the LED lights that are on there already. With the simple T-slot crossbar design, it allows us to run all different optional extras. Things like Starlink with the Gorilla mount, things like Max Tracks, solar panels, shovels, you name it, this roof rack can handle it all. And with a nice, neat and simple design, you can still get up there, wash your sunroof, gain access to the rest of the roof to keep it nice and clean, and it doesn't weigh a ton, which means it's not gonna give you any grief while you're traveling around Australia. Customers are giving us really good feedback when it comes to the roof rack setups. The LED lighting setup at the front end there doubles as a wind deflector, and on a nice clear night, that's going to give you a massive amount of light out the front of the vehicle. And if you're wanting a little bit more lights than this one here, we'll swing over here and we'll show you a couple bull bars that are wired up, because the front end protection on the HD truck is definitely one to think of. If you're wanting a little bit more lighting than what comes on the Big Dog Builds accessory rack out the front, we recommend adding some good lights to the front bar combination on your HD truck. Here we've got an Outback Kidders front bar combo. Being the pre-runner style bar from Outback Kidders, this one here is quite lightweight, but still nice and strong. The aluminium bumper design is definitely very unique. It's got the single hoop up the top here, and you can either choose 2 spotlight tabs, 3 spotlight tabs, 4 spotlight tabs, or if you don't like any of them, we can choose a nice neat LED light bar option underneath as well. One benefit with the Outback Kidders bars, you've also got good wind flow that goes into your intercoolers, so you're not going to do any overheating. I don't think this is an issue in any of the HD trucks, but there's been a little bit of talk online. We can also do the 360 camera relocation. That means that when you have the 360 set up on the center screen, you're still going to be able to see the whole way around the vehicle itself. And with the wiring install that we do on these bars, the wiring's pre-done here on the work trolley. We run those ones through the hoop. It's nice and neat. We've got the Deutsch plugs on there ready to plug in to the accessory on the vehicle itself. With this heavy duty winch cradle, a 15,000 pound winch can be used on most bull bar applications, and you can simply install that one there, plug in your LED lights, plug in your factory sensors, and that's going to be installed, ready to go. One big consideration that we don't talk about too much after you've installed suspension, bar work, and the vehicle's at that next level is ADAS recalibration. This is something that we now offer in the workshop, and we're going to be able to reprogram all of the sensors in your vehicle, whether this is front forward facing sensors, rear parking sensors, adaptive cruise modules. Plugging in and reprogramming the ADAS setup is something that insurance companies are now asking for, and every single build that runs through the workshop is now offered it. After the bull bar option, if you're still wanting a little bit more power, I've got just the solution for you. And that's even before you choose a canopy on the rear end. If you're wanting a little bit more power than what the vehicle has standard, going for an off-grid battery setup from Big Dog Builds should definitely be on the wish list. This one here, we've got the 200 amp lithium battery, 2000 watt inverter, and a whole lot of accessories ready to plug into your Chevy 2500 under-seat power setup. Running a 2000 watt inverter will pretty much power any household appliance if you're using just one at a time. Things like induction cookers, coffee machines, hair straighteners, you name it, this setup here can run it. And with the setup that we run, you got Bluetooth app that you can look on your phone to see state of charge. If you're plugging a solar panel in to trickle charge up this power setup, you're going to be able to monitor the in and the out of this power setup. So that's pretty much everything that we've got for a HD truck build, from wheels, from tires, suspension setup, you name it. If you're only after the essentials, or if you're wanting to hit that next level, we can just keep going all day. One other thing that we can do, if you're wanting to minimize a little bit of this, but you know you're wanting to install a canopy on the rear end of the vehicle, is we can get the vehicle set up, ready for that canopy. So usually for the build design calls, you're going to come in and you're typically going to know what vehicle you're wanting to be in. You also need to know how you're going to register that vehicle. If it's a HD truck, we've got NB1 rated vehicles and we've got NB2 rated vehicles. NB2 equals more payload, but it is in the truck category. Each state has got slightly different rules when it comes to the NB2 registered vehicles, so definitely do a fair bit of study on this one here. But it's the category that you want to be in if you're wanting to get the most out of your tow capacity, you're wanting to get the most out of the payload on the vehicle itself, and you're wanting to be legal no matter where you're driving around the country. A setup like this one here is going to be one of the most capable setups in the country. There's a whole bunch of extra accessories that we can add on to the build as well. And that's things like hitches on the rear of the vehicle, that's weather shields, that's paint protection, you name it. We can get your whole build sorted here at Big Dog Builds for you to fly in, pick up and drive away. If you're interstate and you're wondering how you can get your vehicle up here to Queensland, we've got a transport network system all around Australia now, so we can help get your vehicle into the workshop. It'll be in and out in a heartbeat because the systems and the processes that the team are busy, hard at work here on a daily basis. Something that I'm really proud of in the whole team setup that we've got here at Big Dog Builds to make sure that your HD truck rolls in and out in a heartbeat with no issues at all. We've also got a full aftercare team as well, because let's face it, just because your vehicle's completed in the workshop and you're out enjoying it, doesn't mean that we're never going to talk to you again. If you've got an issue out on the road, or you've simply got a question, or you're chasing that next step in getting your stage 2 build done, for example, we're only one phone call away or email away from getting you back into the workshop to sort anything out or get it back in for an extra few goodies. Our systems is what makes us the #1 workshop for these HD trucks in the country. With well over 650 trucks now through the workshop, I'm keen to see your truck booked in here. If you're interstate, we can get you into the workshop. And let's face it, who wouldn't want one of these amazing looking trucks in their driveway? If you like this video, guys, check this one out here. This Chevy 2500 build video is one of my favorites, and these two down here, don't forget to watch them as well.